Hi, everyone. This is just a little notice to let you know that this episode is going to touch on some sensitive issues such as eating disorders, childhood abuse, and mental health that matters. If any of these topics are sensitive for you, you might want to consider skipping this episode.
Hey, Amelia.
Hey, Janine.
I'm going to check out a movie. Want to come?
Sure.
Welcome to this episode of Check Out Cinema, a podcast where two librarians check out movies and review them. Yay! Now, the problem with having the headphones, I can hear every lip sound.
Two lips.
Oh.
Two lips for her pleasure.
Two ladies, two broads.
Two broads, two lips, two beers, two new microphones, two new headphones.
Yeah, we're out. We out here.
We out here. Janine upgraded our setup, and we are coming to you with crystal clear sound.
We literally look like a professional level podcast. Like, we deserve to have some live video feed and maybe like a soundboard where we play like offensive sound effects.
Yeah, I'm like, it's real Howard Stern hours in here.
Yeah, we got headphones on.
Headphones, but not Howard Stern because it's two girls, two mics, two beers.
Yeah, the girls wouldn't get the mics on Howard Stern. They just have to sit there, and look pretty.
Sit there. That guy's such a doofus.
But
well, we saw a new movie.
We saw a new movie. Okay, so a few months ago, I was sitting at Knoxville's best and only independent theater, Central Cinema, and I saw a trailer that really excited me to the point that I actually pulled my phone out and put in my calendar what day it opened. Like, that is extremely rare. But I was like, oh, that looks cool. Maybe I'll check that out.
We'll check it when it happens.
No, I was like, put that on my calendar right now. I want to see that.
I will be there.
Yes. And it was John Early's Maddie's Secret.
Hey, Maddie, don't you ever get tired of being such a good girl?
No. When I was jogging over here, I got totally distracted by an idea for a new dish.
The only dishes that you need to be thinking about are the ones that need washing.
Hello, my beautiful wife.
I need to go try something in the kitchen.
You have a gift, Maddie,
This dish does have major breakfast sandwichy hangover vibes.
and you should share it with the world.
600,000 views.
What do you mean? Ever since I was a little girl, I always felt like cooking was a form of storytelling. This is a rotel dip, but made with French techniques. A tortang talong, grilled halloumi with a yuzu kosho crisp.
Damn. She's good. And her dip's good, too.
I swear to God, Maddie, it's like you're out of some modern-day fairy tale. You're perfect.
Trust me, Dina, I'm anything but.
You tore, you ate.
Oh, she ate all right.
It just looked so appealing. The trailer is very well made. It really touches on the comedic tone, but also the serious storyline throughout, as well as really pushing forward the straight to TV movie feel.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
Yeah, that's why I almost said commercial earlier, because it does sound and feel like a commercial less than a trailer.
Yeah, like a TV ad, tune in this weekend for the true and shocking story of Maddie Ralph as she battles her inner demons.
Yes, that's what it felt like, and that's apparently the vibe that he was going for. So I mentioned it to you. I was like, hey, I want to see this movie, Maddie's Secret. And you're like, I already know and love that movie, and I have so much more to say. So I'm going to let you take it away and tell me what you know about Maddie's Secret.
Boy, oh boy. So I had the unbelievable pleasure of catching this at this past year TIFF, Toronto International Film Festival's 2025 lineup. It was their 50th anniversary, nifty tifty. And I got this on my radar because I saw it was the directorial debut for John Early. As far as my connection to John Early goes, I've just really liked his comedy sketches. He was on this show, The Characters, and he was in 30 Rock, briefly. He's just kind of popped up everywhere, and he's always just so funny. You immediately gravitate towards him. So I immediately put that on my radar because it was advertised as this queer directorial debut. Okay, front and center, world premiere happening at TIFF. Okay, incredible. And then there was also opportunity for a red carpet because it was a premiere. And so I went with my other podcast, Cinematary, and I applied to be considered for the press line. And to my surprise, I got it. They're like, absolutely, we can get you.
Not to my surprise,
Well,
by the way.
that's really sweet. Thank you, Janine, because I couldn't believe it. You know, there's always a first time for everything. There's got to be a first time for there to be like a second and a third. And for that to be the first, a world premiere of like a smaller, really passion project, I was so thrilled. So I waited in line. I stood at the spot, lucky number 13, and I interviewed some of the cast, supporting cast, and also I got to speak to John. I also spoke to some of the executive producers, and they gave some really fabulous insight into this production. They talked a lot about the intentionality behind it all. They definitely described it as like if John Waters made a after-school special. Also, there was just this overwhelming feeling that everyone was so happy to be a part of this project because they just so believed in John. They so believed in John Early's vision. That was the chorus that I got from everyone was, well, it was for John, or John asked me to, or, you know, it was really John's idea, or John this, or I learned so much from John. He had his hands on every aspect of this, his hands, his eyes, and his heart. Like this felt like him unspooling his heart and giving it to us. Like, this is something that I'm passionate about, and this is what I can do. And he really ran away with it. So I got to interview him, but I'll also admit that I didn't know what to really ask because I didn't really know what this film was about. Because remember, this is the premiere and we're interviewing him before. So like a lot of the questions people were having were like, you know, what can you tell us about this? You play Maddie, you're in a wig, and is this drag? Like, what can you tell us about that? And what does this mean to you? And what was your approach when trying to tackle something like eating disorders? And what does this mean? And have you suffered? Like, they were getting at these questions. And so I only had one question because also I was like towards the end of the line and he had to get in there. And I was just
He had to
like,
go watch his damn
he had to
movie.
go watch his damn movie. And so I told him, you know, my name, where I was from, Tennessee. Oh, I told him I was from Knoxville. He's like, oh my God, I'm from Tennessee. So we had a little moment. So for those of you that don't know, John Early is from Tennessee. He is from Nashville.
Ooh.
And we like had a little key for a second, like, oh my God, like, can you believe just like the two of us from Tennessee and here we are in Toronto to watch the premiere of your movie. How incredible. And then I asked him, I had one question. I said, where does acting end and influencing begin? Because Maddie is like a food influencer in that she goes to these places, is getting sort of like what is happening in food right now. And she's consuming it on camera. And, you know, what does that look like? When you tell someone like, this is a person who is suffering from an eating disorder, but works as a food influencer, what is the psychology behind that character? What is she trying to hide? What is she compensating for? How does she act on camera when consuming this food?
Good girl. Good got you here. Good manners, good posture, good luck, good grief. Good girl. If good got you here, secrets take you there. What if being truly yourself is letting go, and you find yourself by getting lost? You. Everyone has a secret.
Maddie's Secret. Eau de Parfum by Radish. So I was really curious, influencing, is it not acting? Acting is influencing. Is it this sort of like Ouroboros that you can't tell where one ends and begins? And he said, that's a great question. And I really believe him for that. I don't think that he would just say that. So shout out, John, if you're listening. Thank you so much.
We know he is.
We know he is. That really did wonders for my confidence because I was very nervous to speak to him. And he started to talk about how interested he was in food videos, like food content videos. He mentioned that there's like a real sensuality and a real sexuality around them, that there's something like highly erotic. And you kind of notice that when the girls are watching this mukbang video later on, like that already sounds like very graphic and like pornographic, really.
Literally food porn.
It's food porn. Yeah, he was so interested in this. And then he was also really interested in the sort of characters that these influencers play. He calls it sweater acting, to look so demure and so tiny and petite. You've got this big cardigan and it comes up to well above your wrists. Hi, everyone. I'm
Little,
here
like,
today.
hand
Little
flappies.
hand flappies. Hi, today I'm in my kitchen and we're going to make this. Like that is a character that these content creators are playing, and then he's playing them.
Welcome to my kitchen. We have bananas and avocado.
And to like watch him like drop into that character just like right in front of me, I was kind of like, oh my God, like, oh yeah, like I'm talking to a professional, like I'm talking to
Right.
an actor. Like, of course he can just drop into a character. He can drop into this concept of acting that like he has coined and then like carries throughout. It just really made like such a connection to me.
We made this movie under the cover of night like 5 minutes ago. So it is very surreal to suddenly pretend like we know anything about it, or to know I don't know what it is. So anyway, this is so thrilling, and it really means so much to me to be opening the Discovery program now that I know its history and what you value, and it's amazing. It means a lot to me. Thank you.
And then you're going to die, girl, because they go into the world premiere. I did not have a ticket for the world premiere. I only had press pass. So I could only do like the press junket. And so then I get on the phone. I'm like talking to my dad about this. I'm like, I can't believe this. I just interviewed these celebrities. Oh my God. And then I like run back to my friends and I'm like, you guys, it went so well. And then one of my Cinematary co-hosts, he says, oh, is that for Maddie's Secret? I was like, yes, it's for Maddie's Secret. He's like, I have a ticket for the world premiere. I was like,
Give me that right now.
I was like, give it to me. Give it to me right now. And then I run back and the doors are shut and they won't let me in. And so I had to see it the next day. But that's okay because then also I got to go to their rap party.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I got to go to their rap party and I got to speak with the rest of the cast and I got to speak to John and I told him, I was like, I didn't have a ticket for the world premiere, but I saw it the next day. I saw it that morning and it was still like a packed audience, like in a much bigger theater than the one that I think that they had the premiere in. And people were really responsive during the film and you could definitely hear sniffles, you could hear raucous laughter. And I was like, that was wonderful. I also want to say, this is so silly, but speaking to the rest of the cast and getting a feel for who they are and where they came from, they were so well placed. I got to meet Vanessa Bayer. Like I met, I stood next to her at now this is where it gets braggy, so I do apologize. You can skip through this, but
Look, if you don't brag on yourself, who will?
who will?
Me,
Janine will. I said, I stood next to her at the bar and I was like, oh my gosh, hello, hi, she says. I say, I loved your childlike optimism and your wide, warm smile. And then she just, oh my God, just like completely like let down the guard of being a celebrity in a place, mingling, with your cast and then people, members of the press, such and such like that. Just totally let down the guard. We talked a little bit, just very kind. Everybody was so kind. And again, that was where I was also able to say like, now in this, I'm noticing this. I'm able to talk more to you about the actual film instead of just like, and what are you wearing today? And how do you feel? And oh my gosh, how happy are you? So it's like, it really, these press junkets, it kind of sucks that you have to do them before seeing the film.
Right.
Because you don't know what a film is going to inspire in you. And so I was really grateful to have like a second pass at it. Not everybody is so lucky.
Now, how did you get to the rap party?
Shout out, I made a friend in the press line. His name is Marty. He's very, very sweet. He works for Real, like this is For Real, REEL Productions. And he was standing right next to me in the press line. And he had his microphone, he had a camera. He had wonderful, wonderful questions. And I would listen to those questions and take those in. And the way that he was interacting with people was also like very impressive. I was totally 100% myself. And I think that worked really well. And when we met up like multiple times over the course of TIFF, and he was like, I know that there's a rap party and I'm going to see if I can get you on the list. I'm like, oh my God, like that would be amazing. Thank you. Without trying to be like, yes, get me there. I don't want to be like gremlin grabby hands, but I was like, oh my God, like that would be so fun. And hung out with them at the rap party. So friendly, so interesting. I met another gal, Livy Scott. She's everywhere. You kind of can't miss her. You have to be like closing your eyes to not catch her. And then another gal, Alex, with Hyperreal Film Club out of Austin. It was also really exciting to connect with young critic professionals, literally like my age, between the ages of 27 and 30. It was so cool to see our peers that do what we do, connecting and also, making community in such a big, huge festival. I got lucky. I was nice and I was personable and I was myself, and I said yes and I said thank you, and I showed up early. I showed up John early. I showed up very John early to the wrap party. Everybody got there kind of late, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna get there, and I was there like the whole time. And
you don't want to be rude.
You don't want to be rude.
Only celebrities can come late to things.
Yeah, it's not my show. Like I do not have the privilege or pleasure of showing up late. So I showed up kind of early, and then it was also kind of funny because like John was there earlier than I was, because he was like, setting everything up finally, and he goes, "There's my Tennessee girl, my Tennessee friend." I was like,
oh my God. That would make me want to die on the spot. Someone to even remember anything about me.
I know. I could not believe it. I was like, wow. Oh my God. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to move to...
Darrell, I'm going to be your personal fan club. I'm going to be following you around like the fish girlies. Yeah.
It's Grateful Dead here. And, following around Beyonce on... That's his on Instagram, Beyonce. At Beyonce. And just like too funny. But it was a real blast. And awesome. It's just so cool when you get to like mingle. And that was another thing that I do want to like... This does bring out like another layer of this film of like how accessible and approachable the subject matter is, but the cast and the people that created it, like as seriously as they take this topic, they don't take themselves too seriously, and they want people to connect not only with them and their work, but like with the film. So there was just like a really wonderful, like welcoming environment of like, yeah, it is all about John. I mean, like he wrote this, directed this, had a hand in like staging and the cinematography and everything, but like it was such a labor of love, and like labors of love like that are meant to be enjoyed by as many people as possible, as many people that love it as well.
And you were telling me, right, that John took a lot of direct inspiration from other films in terms of lighting and cinematography and angles, right? Like he had a certain look he wanted to capture.
He had a really specific look. So when I spoke with the executive producers, Hannah and Theodore, I had asked them, I was like, the colors in this, there's that scene where Maddie and Dina are cooking in the kitchen and they hold up like some sort of like a radish.
A little purple potato.
And the purple light just shines directly on their face.
I love that so much.
It was beautiful. Just these moments of tender lighting, the shadowing when she goes in to purge for the first time and you see her do her hair up and then the door slowly close. I was like, all of this intentional lighting and shadow work, where did that come from?
I love to, like, I think that in modern filmmaking, there's too much of an emphasis on explaining where light came from. Do you know, it's like people are like, this is a dark scene, so it has to be dark. And it's like, no, we're in a movie. It's movie magic. I want to see your face. I want to see the details. I can suspend the disbelief. I don't need to be like, we as a society have not come to grips on how much trouble CinemaSins has brought to the current state of movies. Do you remember?
Yes, I do.
Yes, little like, ding. Excuse me, where's the light coming from?
This isn't realistic.
1 point away.
I'm deducting points.
I want to see the movie.
I paid to see the movie.
I paid to see this damn movie, and I want to see the faces. I need to see everything in the shadows. I paid my $25 for my ticket and $15 for my popcorn and more, and you better show me what's going on. Anyway, yes,
that's Boomer Janine.
That's my. No. I'm sorry if that's what makes me a boomer. So be it.
So be it. And I will die on that hill.
I will die on that hill. I think that we should make movies look pretty.
And that's what it did. I completely please. Like the way
same wavelength.
It is so refreshing, the intentional lighting and color. Every room in their house had a different color and a different lighting scheme.
Yeah.
Warm.
I saw a comment online where someone was like, where did the blue and orange light from outside her apartment come from? And it's like, who gives a single solitary bean about it? I want the scene to look cool. And sometimes what matters more is the emotion that it brings forth. And we don't need to reserve that sort of experimental, not even experimental, that mood lighting for only the films in like neon cyberpunk worlds where we're all lit up by advertisements all the time. We can just have that. It doesn't have to be an experimental film. We can do it in a story like Maddie's Secret. And I think that's what the line was that Early was trying to ride there. Like, it's supposed to be, yes, kind of like a cheesy straight-to-TV movie, but it has the production value of somebody like who's really intentional about their film. And also, I was reading a little bit more about it, and supposedly John Early's also trying to pay homage to Charles Louis Busch, who is an American actor, playwright, and drag queen, who's known for camp-style plays and in film and television, including like Die, Mommy, Die. And I have not seen any of Busch's films, so I can't say anything about it. But apparently that's also like kind of a homage, like some of the overacting. Which honestly, I didn't think any of the.
I didn't think it was too overacted
Yeah.
because it did feel very grounded in the reality of the film.
Yeah, I think it poked fun at itself at times.
There was a sly awareness of some of the overacting that did feel like playing on stage and you're playing for the nosebleeds.
Yeah, like there's a point when John Early's character Maddie is invited by her friend, who is like a lesbian who has a deep crush, like an obsessive crush, even beyond a crush, more like a BPD type favorite person obsession, you know, like a real like you belong to me type relationship with Maddie. She invites Maddie to a dance class, like an aerobics type thing. And Maddie says, will they have me? An ally? And it's like, okay, yeah. That was very genuinely
hysterical.
Because the way she's like lit so softly, and she goes, an ally?
Ally.
An
ally. Yeah, of course you're welcome.
Yeah.
Everybody's welcome. Why
because
wouldn't
that's
you
also
be?
the thing, is that we were talking a little bit about like John's intentionality in this character, and there's been discussion by John on like, is this character drag? And in the little Q&A we saw some of at the end of the film, he said like, drag to me has a certain amount of bigger than life kind of acting that I don't feel comfortable in. I'm playing Maddie as a character. And you could really feel that. Like I really felt like nothing was played directly for laughs on the idea that he was playing a woman.
Right. Like not exaggerated in Maddie's femininity.
The costuming, nothing.
Yeah, but very grounded in the reality of Maddie as a girl, as a woman.
I think it's very easy to see like John melt away for Maddie.
Yeah.
It was very easy for me to just totally accept like, this is Maddie.
This is Maddie. And she's desirable and she is funny and she is interesting and she is anxious and she's scared and she has all of these very real problems that you can see her as she works through them, as she tries and plays through it all, but nothing so exaggerated. I think also with drag there is like a sexuality there, and Maddie seems to really struggle with hers in a way that feels so constrained.
Yeah.
So that's also where I'm like, it was so easy to just watch Maddie instead of watch a, you know, like a queer man in drag.
Right. And I do want to latch more onto that thought, but I also want to give a little bit of context
for
the film.
Oh, yeah, we need to do that too.
Yeah, Maddie's Secret is a film where we are introduced to this character, Maddie, who works for Gourmaybe, which is a food influencer like conglomerate. And she starts off as a lowly dishwasher with her friend Dana, and, you know, kind of just at the bottom of the totem pole, there's this particular food influencer named
Emily Brown,
who's kind of, you know, feels like she's better than all of them because she's the main on-camera talent and really just kind of has it out for poor Maddie. But Maddie loves food. So she goes home, she cooks for her husband. Her husband's like, I want to take a video of you because he's an editor. Mm-hmm. He's like, I know you can be a real star because I see you as beautiful. I see you as talented. I eat your food. Your food tastes amazing. Let's do this. And she's like, I don't know. I don't like the way I look on camera. And he's like, baby, you're beautiful. Let me make this for you, which is also like really violating her boundary that she's kind of made. Like, I didn't, you know, it looks like at the time it can look totally supportive, but also she's kind of like, I don't really want to do this. And he's like, no, we're going to do this. And he feels like he gets paid off for it because it goes viral. She gets like 600,000 views overnight, which is insane. And Gourmaybe is like, hey, you signed a contract and this contract says that you can't do it. And she's like, oh my God, I'll do whatever you want. And she's like, I want you to be on-air talent for Gourmaybe. So then that sets off Maddie's journey and her new kind of push to evaluate her relationship with food, because as she becomes more popular in this food influencer world, influencing is image-based, and it begins to like stoke the fire of her burgeoning, like underlying simmering eating disorder that she has had since a young age, but she had managed to kind of get it under control, But then now she's under the microscope. People are commenting on her body, or she thinks they're commenting on her body because Emily is kind of poking fun at her. Like, why are you even casting that fat cow? You know, why are you making, not exactly in that language, but you know.
just about. There's there's a scene where she like talks about these aprons are so big, I'm swimming in them.
We need something smaller.
I mean, maybe just for me.
Yeah. And so like Emily is very aware, I think as any woman is aware, that size has an advantage. In this society that we're in, people with smaller bodies are often perceived with a little bit more social value. And is that right? Is that fair? I'm not here to argue that. I'm just saying that's the reality. And so she knows that, whether or not she knows that Maddie has struggled with food. She knows that on the social like totem pole, she's a little bit higher because she's got more of what she considers like a socially attractive body. And, you know, she already knew that she could play on that insecurity like any popular girl knows. It doesn't matter. You don't even have to be popular to pick on somebody else for their body.
They have a body. They exist. Their body is different than mine. Therefore.
And even like people with the bodies that people would think are perfect, no one ever feels perfect because there's always a more unattainable
standard.
You're right, absolutely. And so that sort of like commentary, that back and forth, sets off Maddie's eating disorder. So then the rest of the film is seeing how Maddie deals with or doesn't deal with this, you know, bulimia that she's had since she was a young kid.
It starts to spiral, and then we watch as she has to decide to let it go out of control, totally lose control, or let people in and help her with it. Things escalate in such a way, relationships are tried and tested. She tries to have it all. And also there is this other arm of the eating disorder that is caused by her mother, these relationships with her mother. And so that brings up a lot.
Didn't your mother ever teach you not to speak with your mouth full?
Well, you know what they say, the camera adds 10 pounds.
You know how many years it took me to get over my disorder, Mother. Please don't talk to me like that.
I think you actually want to lose control, Maddie.
You're hiding things from me. It's making me look like a fool.
This all just seems really dramatic.
Let's say if you're listening from this point on, we're going to get deep into the plot and kind of talk about the finer points. So if that's not for you,
like if
see ya. Come back.
Go watch it and then come back. Because I hope that all of this is very interesting.
Because we're going to get down to brass tacks. We're going to talk a little bit about the nitty gritty here. So come on back later if you want to come back.
Y'all come back now.
Intermission. End of intermission.
I kind of poked around a little bit on the internet to be like, what do people think about this film? Like, what are people's thoughts on it? Like, what's the intentionality? Did other people like it the way that I liked it? Just to kind of see is like, you know,
curious.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious. I want to know what people are talking about. And I saw at least like one person who was kind of like, I don't think that it's this guy's right to poke fun at like women's complicated relationships with the food. And I did not feel that any part of this was poking fun.
Not at all.
Eventually, at one point, Maddie has a very serious health scare because she has a cardiac event when she has really gotten into the depths of this eating disorder. She is throwing up, she's binging, she's purging. Her friend Dina finds out, and instead of being like, let's get you help, she's like, I can hide this for you because she likes the control.
Yeah.
She likes knowing something about Maddie that nobody else knows. She's not like, hey, Maddie, let me talk to your husband. Let's figure out what we can do with treatment. She's like, no, I will make sure this works out for you.
It's not Maddie's secret anymore. It's our secret.
Yes, absolutely. And Maddie is doing everything she can to hide this because this is related to her livelihood, her career, her identity too. Because as you can tell from the beginning, like when her husband's like, you make amazing meals for me, let me video you. It's like, this is something she does all the time. So it's not just her job. This is her identity to be somebody who loves food. And so to now not love food, but to be controlled by food, to have a hypnosis basically on you where you are pulled to a kitchen, where you are pulled to a plate, where you are pulled to a bathroom. That's losing control. And in everything else, Maddie desires control. So she is lying everywhere she goes, including when her husband walks in on her making herself sick in the bathroom. She goes, I'm pregnant.
Which that was devastating because one of the reasons why he posted the videos, he's like, Maddie, we could make money off of this.
We could have a family.
We could have a family. I want to have a baby with you. He's wanting to capitalize off of her identity and talent.
Mm-hmm.
and then cash in on it because he knows that there is a market for it. And, you know, on one hand, it's like, yeah, that is like pretty exploitive. But then on the other hand, the intentions there are, I believe in my wife and she is talented and I want the world to see what I see in her.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it is totally at her expense. She has no say in it. And then again, zero control over her identity on the camera, zero control over even doing this. And then the only control that she can have is I can eat this food and then I can get rid of this food.
And I think even like you see it in those moments where she is in front of the camera, where she's taking a big bite of a juicy sandwich or burrito or something, and then there's food on her face, and she catches her appearance in like a reflective surface, and immediately she's like, oh, I gotta wipe this off, I gotta get this clean, because she let herself go in that moment and realized she can't control the image on the camera. And so what can she do? She can control everything else. She can control the contents of her stomach. But she's deeply ashamed of it. Like when she first goes to the bathroom to purge at work, she's every noise. It's like, are people still in here? Can anyone hear me purging? You know? And every moment of it felt very genuine to me. Like, yes, there were laughs, but I never felt like it was at the expense of this woman's eating disorder. No. And I think from a little bit of what I was reading, you know, some people were like, oh, well, like all the stuff that happened in the eating disorder treatment clinic, like this sort of thing, like, you know, it's over the top. And it's like, as somebody who has been in an inpatient mental health facility, not specifically an eating disorder facility, but we share the same kind of like dorms and setups and things like that. There's some funny stuff that goes on in there. It's over the top. It's ridiculous because it's like you have people who are at the end of their rope, who are experiencing things that are like ridiculous. Like some of these things are over the top and we know that, but we can't control our reactions to it because girl, it's a mental illness. It's like
I don't think that you can totally squeeze the humor of life out of this experience.
Yeah, it's like mental illnesses and addictions are terrifying. They are something that have serious repercussions, and we see that reflected in the movie. There is a young woman who dies because she has an exercise addiction and she has a heart problem, and she dies when Maddie sneaks out to continue pursuing her career at the cost of not keeping an eye on her roommate, of foregoing her treatment. And she also suffers a major health issue. It's like that kind of stuff happens. But the thing is, it is objectively ridiculous at times to have a total loss of control with something like an addiction, with a compulsion. And that's okay. I don't think we need to just like always say every single moment of it is serious. Like, no, like, I don't know. I myself, and I think like many other people who are raised in this image-based society have struggled with food. That's no surprise to anybody. And there are certain moments where I'm like, the things that I'm doing are ridiculous, but I am trapped in this moment. I am trapped in this compulsion. And sometimes you are almost like out of body. It's like, well, I guess I'm doing this. I guess I'm eating this thing or not eating this thing just because I'm powerless to it. And accepting powerlessness or like observing powerlessness is kind of funny. Like it is kind of just like, this is ridiculous. Like, what are we doing here?
Wake up.
Yeah, literally, like, wake up.
Wake up.
I wish it were that easy, you know?
Snap out of it. Snap out of it, girl.
Yeah. And so I think that is on display here. I think there is like a certain level of like accepting it's a very serious thing, but then also like, girl, calm down.
Yeah, like the people that she encounters in the inpatient therapy, they're not caricatures. They are very real, like fully realized people with an identity. And then I think to look at them and to say, well, it's actually serious. They know it's serious. This like within the context and the reality of this movie, this is their lives.
Yeah.
Try telling them that it's not serious.
Yeah.
Like try telling these girls who are pouring their heart outs to each other over the loss of one of their own that you need to be more serious.
Yeah.
Or when they try and find some joy and levity in the seriousness of their situation. Yeah, try and tell them that, no, you actually can't laugh at your situation. I mean, people say all the time, if I don't laugh, I'll cry.
Yeah.
And that is a way of taking control.
Yeah.
Is to find something funny about this helplessness and to live in it and then to share it with us.
Yeah. And I also think that the real moment that solidifies that this is taking things seriously is when there is a girl who is also in treatment and everybody's having to eat their meals. They have to finish their plates. And one of the girls, who I assume is dealing with like a more restrictive rather than a binging type of eating disorder, is brought a cupcake.
For her birthday.
For her birthday. And it's someone goes like, yeah, on your birthday, you get a cupcake and you have to eat the whole thing. You could shoot and act that in a very funny way. You could be like, it's a cupcake. Like, this is supposed to be a fun thing. It's a cupcake. But it is deathly serious in that moment. Like, she starts crying. The two girls on her other side, like, they have their hands on her. And even the nurse or the tech on the floor has a somber expression. Like, she also knows this is a hard moment. There is no one there who is like laughing at the situation, even though I think some would say crying in a cafeteria because someone's singing happy birthday and bringing you a cupcake
is like kind of funny.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's kind of ridiculous. It's objectively like kind of strange, but it is life or death in that moment. And so I really feel like John Early was very earnest. I think also that it kind of like observes and properly portrays the way that people in treatment centers can like enable each other and hide secrets. And there's like a lot of trust that goes like patient to patient that can be easily broken. So as you mentioned earlier, a phone comes into play.
Yeah. So one of the girls takes a phone, the phone of one of their nurses or one of the techs on the floor. And also, I do want to say that these techs that are administering to the girls, I did genuinely get a sense of how much they did care for the girls, even when they were annoyed by them or like frustrated by the lack of progress or the sort of sideways progress that they might be taking, and just feeling like we are genuinely here to help you because we believe in you girls. But please, we need you to participate as much as we are participating for you.
Yeah,
absolutely. Show up for you the way that we are showing up for you. And so they take a phone and the girls all watch, and it's an influencer. They are watching food content, but the food content that they are watching is vastly different, or maybe not even. Like if this is sort of like a horseshoe kind of effect where we come around the other way, that it's the same thing, of a mukbang. I literally hate saying that word. It is so gross, but that's what it's called. Like the style of videos where someone has a giant, wet, sloppy plate of food and they're chomping on it and sucking the food down. And so one of the girls remarks, that's the face that they make in porn now. Yeah. So there's this like sexuality that's tied into food very carefully, like really threads that needle. But they break the rules, and then they all, those three girls, they protect each other. They lie to protect each other.
But Maddie tattles on them.
Yeah.
Because Maddie is at that point just thinking about herself. Like, I need to earn favor with the techs on the floor. I don't really know if they're nurses or so I'm just going to call them techs. Like with the staff, with the staff on the floor, so that I can get out of here. Like so that I can sneak out and nobody will suspect me because I've been the good girl.
I've been the good girl. I've showed up.
And that's Maddie's like whole personality. She's always been the good girl. Her husband says she's a good girl. Like
that she's perfect.
The Emily, the other influencer, like, I guess I can't say hell. I got to say heck because Maddie's here. You know, she has this image of being the over the top good girl. And she likes having that image. She likes that control. She likes to feel a little bit better than other people. And that's the same thing. Like, she doesn't think she needs to be in that treatment center. She actually even says, like, the reason I'm here is because you told me I was going to die if I didn't come here.
To turn it into that either I leave here and I die, or I go to this and just kind of get it over with, and then I'll be fine.
And then I'm cured.
And then I'm cured. Fine. Yeah, I can do that. Because then it's also on her terms as well. It's like, well, if the alternatives are dying or living, then I'll live. Yeah. Because it does mean that I get that much closer to what I want in this world, which is this job that I've been hustling after. But that's really the only thing that she wants is this job.
Right.
Notice how she is extremely career driven, and, you know, constantly her husband is bringing up like, are you getting enough nutrients for the baby? Here's the baby crib.
She's continually lying to him
every day
by omission. She just goes like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, he's like, fine. Am I the only one excited about this? That part broke my heart.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say, too, you were talking about the cast earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone in here was so immensely talented. And I think one thing that I really enjoyed about the film was that every character was very believable. Like, they looked very approachable. Like, people you would see in these sort of roles, not somebody trying to fit into this sort of role. Like
it's not like we've got Margot Robbie and then
it's like in the Barbie movie. It was like, note, if you're trying to say like there's a woman who's not beautiful, don't cast Margot Robbie. You know, something like that.
Sort of, and it's like, and when they did that took me out of the whole thing. It's like, oh.
Okay, like,
fine.
Okay, yes, we know she's beautiful.
We get it.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous. I'll die.
And the thing is also about Maddie is like she's lit so gorgeously. I believe like wholeheartedly that she is a beautiful woman. Like in this, not just in like the movie magic, not like saying like, oh well, they think she's beautiful. Like they treat her.
They treat her as she's beautiful.
Yeah, and she's lit like a movie star, and I loved that. But I also thought it was really refreshing to see some of the like the bloodshot eyes. You know, after like a purging moment, like you see the real physical effects of dealing with this sort of eating disorder. And so this job that she's up for is like, it's very funny because it's a parody of the idea of the bear.
Yeah.
The
boar.
Yeah. The famous TV show. It's like a ultra fine dining, like based in Chicago in the bear. It's like based in a Italian beef, like a hot beef, sandwich.
Angry, people, they yell at each other and they say behind, and everyone's like, this is just like working in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Just finishing
Step
talking
out.
to Marcus, and
Step out.
Okay, I'm gonna talk to Marcus.
Get the f*** off my expo chef now!
Oh, they drink out of water containers. Like
they drink out of the
the
cups,
the quarts. And so in this, it's like they're the boar, and it's like instead of a beef,
boring.
It's like pulled pork. I think they say they're pulled pork sandwiches. It's very funny. It's like clearly like a nod to the bear. But Maddie is up for this food styling job.
To make a real menu for the fake restaurant in the TV show.
Yeah.
And then we're going to capitalize on it with BTS footage of the making of the fake movie. So there's like ridiculous layers to like this content mine that she's being tossed through the cogs in this content machine, like so much slurry just to like put out slop.
And can I just say too, it's like the life of being an influencer sounds horrible to me. I feel like that is like a capital JOB. And when there are people now, it's like, I want to be an influencer, I want to be a streamer. It's like, you are making content all day, every day. Like, I can't even be asked to make an Instagram post for our podcast at the time. That's why you do it.
Yeah, that's
why. That's why you do it. Yeah.
But it's fun.
Yeah, but like, that's not me. So to see this as like, okay, to me, this is like, sounds objectively miserable.
Yeah.
But like, I can tell, I know that this is a desirable thing for people to be in front of the camera, to be making money off of their image, all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting to kind of be, again, like feeling kind of on the outside, but then also finding it intensely relatable because she also is passionate for this sort of thing.
Like she has the real heart for what she is creating.
Right.
Because to her, it's not content. To her, it's
storytelling.
It's storytelling. She says that I've always felt that like cooking is a form of storytelling. And what is the story that she's telling? The story that she's telling is that she is a vegetarian for quote unquote ethical reasons, as it's really a method of controlling her food and her food intake.
And also what set off her eating disorder
is meat.
Right.
All this from a slice of gabagool.
He took a bite of a Madeleine, and that one bite unleashed a tide of memories of his childhood and ultimately of his entire life.
This sounds very gay.
This to her, I can imagine that the pressure that comes from this is the fact that she loses her real identity. And she keeps saying, she's like, I'm having a hard time even remembering why I like food.
Yeah.
Because something like this turns what makes you into just, metrics.
Right. Yeah. And also it's, the conscious decision to make food influencing content, specifically like promoting vegetarian food, when you don't even want to confront the reason you became vegetarian. Because in Maddie's world, you said like for ethical reasons, like that's her excuse. But really the reason she's vegetarian, it's linked deeply to her childhood trauma. So we talked a little bit about her mom, and her mom is kind of like briefly mentioned in the beginning as like being kind of like flippant about Maddie's promotion, not really celebrating her. And her husband knows that she has a contemptuous relationship with her mother because he kind of says, oh, was she not happy for you?
Yeah,
was
what'd
she
she say this time?
What'd she say this time? But I also think that Maddie never told him the full story.
No, I don't think so. Because like, how can you admit to that? Things ramp up.
Right.
We get a family therapy visit with her mom. And, you know, beyond her just seeming to be like a kind of selfish mother, like we got from the phone call, selfish, desperate for male attention.
And dismissive.
And very dismissive. Like when Maddie said, it's a really big deal, this job, her mom like reminds her that her leg hurts, that she's got knee pain. So it's like, forget about that. I'm hurting. I'm in pain. I
think she even says that's not fair. When she says like, well, this is a big opportunity for me. It's going to come with more money. And she goes, well, that's not fair.
She's like, oh, great. You know, you'll forget about me.
Yeah.
You know, just really nasty.
Narcissistic
manipulation.
And so eventually, while Maddie is recommitting to treatment, so she sneaks out for this bore audition.
Yeah.
She has another binge and purge moment and ruptures her stomach. And it's scary, you know, and she gets rushed back to treatment. Her husband's like, again, blindsided because he had believed that she had been given special permission to leave, that she was
healing.
Yeah, that she was doing so well. Turns out she still couldn't control this relationship with food and seeing food that she puts so much love and care into, and she can see the way other people are enjoying it. She's like, oh, I want to enjoy that. I want to be there. I want to be the one going, because like that's
having
what
these
sets it
moans.
off. Yeah,
there's that sexual feeling, that like real satisfaction and relief that comes from letting go.
Yeah,
she can't even do that when she was having sex with her husband.
Yeah, and she can't let go because the moment that she lets go, it's like the floodwaters are released. It's then everything is gone. It's not just like, oh, I can have a little treat. I can let myself go a little bit. It's like, no, we're letting everything go. It's no holds barred. So she ends up back in treatment. She finds out that her poor roommate, played by Vanessa Bayer, who did such a really great job of being this kind of like very innocent, like wanting to be protected kind of character. So sweet. There's that moment when Maddie walks in and sees all the things on her bed, like, this is a treatment center for adults. Right?
This like sort of stunted,
yeah.
You know,
and you kind of like, why are you here? Like, you know, we don't really see fully why she's here. We get the little warning like, oh, she likes to exercise. But we don't really see any of that until when Maddie sneaks out. She goes like, oh, I need you to like cover for me. And she's like, so you can break the rules, but I can't. And then she starts exercising, and Maddie's like, I just gotta go. I don't care. I gotta go. And she has a cardiac event and dies. And so when she comes back, there's this very sweet moment where they all hold a vigil for her. The three girls, where she was kind of had like a adversarial relationship with, because those girls know the score.
They know that the only reason why you're in here is because you are actually suffering from an eating disorder.
Yeah, and
we can admit that. Why can't you?
Yeah, because what are you not wanting to tell us? Why can't you admit what's really going on? And it's because she needs that control. She needs to pretend like this is just a stumbling block. Like, she needs to think like, this is just something I have to get under control. I'll get it under control. Just like I control everything else. I got to control this too. And so this very sweet little midnight vigil moment. And she does kind of recommit to treatment, which means that she starts talking more seriously in therapy. And she tells the psychologist, I'm ready. Bring her in.
God. Well,
it's brutal.
It's brutal. So her mom comes in, and this is also what we mentioned when we say the real intentionality that is imbued into every frame. From her costuming alone, there is something so youthful, something that's trying to maybe hold on to a certain youthful spirit. And she even says, she's like, I had Maddie when I was very, very young, as you can tell, because I'm a hot mom. I'm not like other moms. I'm a hot mom. She's got a big vape rig, which, you know, this like interesting little oral fixation. So maybe a little addiction there too. But there's some trauma there. And she just comes in, she sits down. She doesn't hug Maddie. She doesn't ask Maddie how she's doing. She doesn't care. She immediately flirts with Maddie's therapist beyond inappropriate. It's because he's a man in front of her. So they sit down, and her therapist starts to discuss Maddie's eating disorder with her mother, and her mom.
Oh, I guess you're going to blame me.
You're going to blame me for it. Yeah, of course. That's why you brought me here. You bring the mom, you blame the mom. Refusing to engage. And then she wants to like play the therapy game, which to her is Rorschach, and I'm going to do word association, and she gets inappropriate. And it's when she gets inappropriate that things escalate, and her doctor touches a nerve, and Maddie shrieks.
Because he says,
meat. And that is the trigger, because we're trying to get at in sessions like, well, Maddie, why are you vegetarian? Ethical reasons. Maddie, why are you vegetarian? Well, because of ethical reasons. And why vegetarian reasons? Well, it's because it's ethical. What is so ethical about it? What does that really mean? What do you believe? And then Maddie starts to unpack this very difficult childhood trauma, and it ramps up from there. You think that it's just going to be, well, as Maddie explains, her mom introduced her to binging. They would eat the meat, which her mom got this like frozen meat of the month club, something, those like Trump steaks, basically.
And they were doing like a early keto.
They were doing Atkins. So it's like they had to eat the meat and then like no carbs. And then they would work out or binge the meat and then go from there. So
her mom taught her
how to purge.
And there's this really like haunting image of her holding her
hair
daughter's
back.
hair back.
And Maddie pulls her hair back every time when she purges. And it's like that's still
The
like
ritual.
her mother. The ritual is that her mom holds her hair back.
Yeah.
And her mom's not there. So she puts her hair back.
Yeah.
And it's chilling. And you think it ends there. No.
Also, her mother treats her like meat.
Yes. That is where things escalate. Her mom dangles her underage daughter like a piece of meat in front of men. The wolves. So she gets her daughter a fake ID and brings her to nasty bars and lets the men leer at her daughter and say disgusting, inappropriate things. And then her mom will take the men back into the bathroom and then she will have sex with them.
Yeah. Well, I think Maddie says finish the job, which I think is very interesting too, because you think about the binge purge cycle. You can't just binge, you have to purge. And where does that job finish? In the bathroom. So again, it's also like this cycle of pleasure and release, or sickening overindulgence and release.
Sickening overindulgence of sexuality and then release. So then she never really and like thank God she never experienced the release.
Yeah.
So I think that's also where like these complicated feelings of like sexuality come from, is because she's only used to like the nasty, like more overt and grotesque aspect of it.
And then also, let's not ignore the fact that she is left alone in the bar with the rest of the lecherous men while her mother is finding her a new dad.
She can only do one at a time.
And her mom doesn't even want to address that. She's like, you know what? I think that's enough for today.
And leaves.
Yeah, just leaves. And so the rest of the film from there kind of becomes a little bit almost like montage style. We've gotten to like the deep, the nitty gritty. We don't really see much more of like her therapy, her working through it, except we see that one day she's invited to cook for the girls in treatment. And it does look very wholesome. And I think what's interesting is that you and I were talking about our interpretations at the end. So let's kind of explain what happens. She cooks the meal for her treatment center. They say, hey, you've done great work. It's time for you to go home. She goes home. Her husband and her, they have kind of like a strained, very like, there's, if you'll excuse the language, there's a pregnant silence between them, because there's a lot that could be said and neither of them are saying anything. And she even says, like, you can be mad at me. You have a right to be angry. And he goes, I'm just glad you're okay. And then the next day she's off to go take a jog, and her husband is packing up the handmade baby cradle that his friend had made when he had told him. It was like, hey, I'm so excited, I'm about to become a dad. And he's packing it up. And he kind of looks at her as like, did your doctor say it was okay to exercise? She doesn't say anything. She's kind of, shrugs her shoulders and then takes off on the jog and then smiles. And that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And so you and I had different interpretations of that. So let's talk about your interpretation first.
My interpretation was pretty positive because I want to believe in Maddie that she got to a place where she was able to unearth this trauma and speak it truly. But unfortunately, she didn't get the connection and like aftercare like from her mother. Her mom leaves her. Her therapist tells her that she's doing great work, like confirms the fact that like this is the right direction to go in, which is supportive. And then she's rewarded with cooking a nice meal for the girls and gets help with the girls. There seems to be some sort of a feeling of like, they can have a nice relationship to good food, like good nourishing food. And I believe in that. She's released. She also is free, unshackled, unburdened of this controlling relationship of Dina. Dina comes to the, we've got like Dina lies and gets herself admitted to the inpatient care because she wants to be with Maddie to quote unquote help her
escape.
Well, help her escape, but also to be there for her. It's like, you don't have to go through this alone, girl. We're in it together. And then
don't worry, I faked an eating disorder. It was super easy. I even stained my teeth.
If anyone is saying something about how like that it's Dina's character that mocks the severity of this, not the film. And
Absolutely.
like, I think that's a very important distinction to note. But Maddie is free of Dina because Dina is transferred to a different wing. So now she is free of one enabler. And then I felt like when she does go home, I felt like I was sad by the way that she treated her husband, because I didn't feel like he really deserved that kind of treatment, as in like to be kind of written off, or you can be mad at me, instead of I'm sorry that I lied to you consistently.
Right.
Or I'm sorry that I didn't let you in. Or I'm sorry I didn't tell you the truth about myself. But then it sort of seemed as though by the end, when she's off running, that she is free of this other type of enabler. He's an enabler by ignorance, only seeing what he wants to see. He sort of confirms these biases of you're perfect, you're beautiful, you're my good girl. He gives her that kind of attention and love and support that her mother couldn't, that no father figure could either. But then she's free of him as well. So then I got this feeling of like, she is free to go on, and I think that she continues on this path of healing and fostering a good connection with food and her own body and the people around her that know what it means to have this disease, this addiction. And so I was feeling very hopeful, and I was feeling very proud of Maddie. And Janine has a differing opinion.
And perhaps I'm just a cynic, but in my watching of this moment, I think it really like comes to that specific moment when she gets to make the meal for the other girls. I couldn't help but think about an earlier scene in the movie where she collapses during an exercise class, like during this class she's taking with Dina. And in the couple of times we see this exercise class before, the coach says to her, you know, you don't have to win. You don't have to be the best. Like, you need to let your body feel this. You just go through the motions. You know what to do. And that's very similar to very serious therapy. It's like, you don't have to win therapy. You just have to take it seriously, to let the motions like go through your body, to really let yourself feel what you're feeling. So I couldn't help but think about that when you see the way that Maddie lights up outside when the staff says, hey, how would you like to make a meal? And she's like, oh, can I have help? Can I have people in the kitchen with me? Let me bring all my girls in. She brings in these other girls, the 3 girls that she held the vigil with, and she shows them, like, look at this food. We can taste all these different things, these nutritious things. And it looks positive in some way. But what I was seeing was somebody else exerting their control, saying, like, oh, I can tell you about all this food. I'm in my element right now. This is what I do. I make food. I make these beautiful recipes. I develop them, and I understand flavor and taste. I know food. That's what I was seeing there, was this excitement, which maybe is a genuine love for food, but also kind of felt like, I'm cured now. Let me show you. And like, I'm better than all of you. I can do all these things. And perhaps it's not a very generous understanding of her character, but something feels a little strange here. And when she gets home and there's that moment where she's like, oh, you know, you can be mad at me. But again, like you said, she doesn't invite him by saying, let me apologize to you for the things that I've done, for the ways I wronged you, honestly, because she really did wrong him. And then in that moment where he asks her, like, did your doctor clear you for exercise? And she says nothing. She literally sees her husband packing up the crib. He was so excited to show her. And she says nothing. Like, that's her invitation to be like, let's talk about this. But instead, she's like, I'm going to go on a run. I don't know. That just felt like in that moment, it's like running away from my responsibilities, running maybe into freedom. You could say that. But I think it was like, I can control one thing in this moment, and that's me leaving. That is me exercising. That is me getting my steps in, making sure that whatever I eat today, I've managed to atone for it. To me, it just felt like this ending was like a gut punch for me. It did not feel positive. I kind of felt like we really have no solid proof, so to say, that she's got it under control, because even the psychiatrist says to her at one point, she says, I've got this under control before. I've done it before. And he goes, you've also relapsed. You will relapse again. Like, this is going to happen if we don't do the work. And I don't know. Like, we don't see her have a meal. We see her eat the takeout.
We see her eat the takeout, and then she goes to the bathroom, and it's like, what are you going to do in the bathroom?
Yeah, because her husband, like, his little feelers go up.
He's like, wait, she's going to the bathroom. We're in the middle of eating. Like, we're not done.
Mm-hmm.
And when she goes to the bathroom, she sings when she goes to the bathroom. And that was something that she picked up in inpatient therapy. How else are we going to know that you're not throwing up? Is if we can hear you sing. And we hear her sing. But there's other ways to purge. And like, if you're establishing this as now your baseline with your husband, that when I go to the bathroom, I'm going to do this. How long are you going to keep that up? Are you going to keep that up?
And can he trust her? Like, that's the other thing is, like, I don't think he does trust her. And I don't think he's been given a reason. You can't have a film follow you through like, you're not going to get an epilogue like you get, like, in a book, you know?
Or like in a made-for-TV movie where it's like, and then Maddie learns how to cope, and then
everything works out. It's
Yeah.
a happily ever after ending. We don't get that. And I think that either interpretation, I think they both are valid. I would like to have like the initial like, oh, everything worked out for Maddie. Like everything's coming up Maddie. But I just felt like, oh, like we're not done here. Maddie's not done. Like she's got a lot more work to do. And I think that's what makes a good movie. Is like if you agree on like exactly what happens. And it's like, well, you have to have something to talk about on the ride home.
Yeah, because, oh my God. And then we drive home and then we're like, talking. And then Janine's like, we have to stop. We have to record this tomorrow. Because otherwise we're going to like, we'll run out of things to say.
Yeah. But I think the mark of a good movie is being able to talk about it for however long. Like, I mean, I think sometimes when we record these episodes and I look at what the runtime is, I'm like, just go watch the movie. Like,
yeah, sorry. Just go watch the movie. But like, if you want to like join in a conversation and community, then listen.
But I think that's like an important part of really understanding the impact of a movie is because it's so much more than just like beat by beat plot. Like I know we do like touch on the plot, but it's to like talk about like the moments, like each specific little moment you can pull at every thread. And I think it's what makes a successful movie. So I really enjoyed this one. I'm glad that you kind of encouraged me to go see it because it was at 8:30 at night.
Yeah, 8:30 p.m. on a school night.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, I don't know, but you're like, let's go. It's so good.
Let's totally do it.
And it was totally worth it. So
100%.
It's funny because it's like a newish movie. So we're not checking it out from the library.
But I hope we will.
Yeah. It's not like, is it worth the late fee? Is it worth being sleepy in the morning? And I say yes.
It's 100%.
It's worth being a little tired when you wake up the next day because you had to stay out late with your friend watching a movie.
Oh no. Such is life. You know what? This is what my dad says when I complain about little things. And I'm so sorry. That makes it minimize. But he says, into each life, a little rain must fall.
I love that. That is so dad. That is like, well, like today I had to take off of work to go pick up something out of town, and I drove out and I decided to make a whole day of it. And I was like, let's just take my vacation time. Let's go make a whole day of it. Go out, bring my dog with me, go on a walk, take her to the park, like go walk in like a downtown, like this, and this. And I go, I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. And I lay down on the couch.
You had a really great day.
Yeah, it's like your day was fantastic.
You had a wonderful 24 hours. It started when you got to see a wonderful movie with your friend.
Yeah.
And then drive home because we live so close to the theater.
Yeah.
And then take your dog with you to explore the creeks and valleys and nature, and then come home and rest on your couch.
And talk to your friend about the movie.
Talk to your
Yeah, I have a hard life. It really is.
That's Janine's secret.
Yeah.
She actually has a hard life.
I actually have a really, really fucking hard life.
She also set up all this new podcasting.
Oh, yeah. And we sound amazing. We sound so crisp.
Yes. Well, Janine, would we do an encore of this?
Absolutely. I mean, you've seen it twice.
Seeing it twice, so much opened up for me. And also all of the laughs. This is a hysterical movie. I was beside myself.
Yeah, I definitely want to watch it again and to like pay a little bit even more attention to like the little details, the moments that aren't the main plot. Like what are we really seeing here? What are we unpacking? So yes, I do think it's worth a rewatch. I think we'll see even more detail the next time. And I hope they put this on the library shelves.
I hope they will too. I want to say that I would have it on good authority, that like we have an in, we know somebody in the library. But all we can really do is recommend to our librarians because they love when we recommend things.
And then to you personally, like if you're listening and that's showing in your theater, go see it.
This
was really nice. It was fun. It's not very long either.
No, it's a pretty quick watch. It has great pacing. And also
Absolutely.
if your theater doesn't have it, you can request it. Again, they want things that people will come out to, and people will come out to this.
Yeah, definitely.
Spread the word, spread the gospel.
Yeah. Okay, so if you want to hear more from us, you can find us on Instagram at checkout_cinema. I'm on Letterboxd at Honeyed Life. And Amelia, what do you got to plug?
I am on Letterboxd as well at Amelia_Grindhouse. I also have my Substack at Babe Cinema, BABE Cinema. And Oh, also, I mean, I wrote about this with my other podcast, so you can read my write-up on cinematary.com.
And we'll link it.
I did a nice little write-up for TIFF, and I think that's really all I have to promote.
Okay, we're good. Yay! It doesn't matter who I'm talking to because all it matters is that I sound good with these new fancy microphones, and I'm still so quiet. I gotta turn
We
my
are
phone
sponsored by Rode.
No, they better pay me some fucking money if they
We're
want to
sponsored
sponsor
by
me.
Rode.
We're sponsored by Rude.
Rode. It looks very South African. It looks very Dutch.
Oh yeah.
Rode microphone.
Rode.
Rode
yes.
podcast microphones.
Yes.
This is my Dutch accent.